Welcome everybody to Comics and Consoles. I'm Barry White Hansen as always, and with me is my co-host Winston Hodges.
Yes.
And we got a great lineup for you today. I brought my very good friend, the greatest dungeon master to ever exist, quite possibly. Greatest role player, greatest ghost hunter, greatest chef, RhaldyTV.
Thanks, man. Hello, everybody.
Woo.
What's up? D&D.
Hell yeah.
I can't find a DM who's willing to run a campaign for my friends and I for more than like 5 sessions.
Dude.
Which I think speaks volumes for my friends more than it does the D&D, the DM.
I don't know. Maybe. A good DM should be able to corral anybody, right?
I don't know if you know these people. I certainly have been very sympathetic to the DM. It's definitely like, you know how if you invite like a new friend to like a group function and like you just feel the need to apologize afterwards. On more than one occasion,
sorry.
Yeah, I've more than once been like, "Oh, you're leaving. I'll walk out with you." And then as we're walking to car, I'm like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about what happened in there."
They're not always like this. I promise they're good people. My guest is a friend of mine that I met doing Zoom comedy. He's from Pennsylvania. He's got some great podcasts. Very funny, really good dude. I've got Chris William.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And the nicest of all the comic Zoom setups that we've had so far. I think.
It was a nice.
Yeah, dude, great background. Seriously.
Thank you so much.
Audio's got to be great in that room.
Oh, it is. It's very good in here. But I will say it also is more to save my my partner from having to hear me at all hours of the night recording podcasts or streaming on Twitch.
Very sweet of you.
She's trying to sleep, and she's just she set all that up.
She did. It's funny. The other
more
night
for me than it is for you.
the other night after a Zoom show, I was we were running bits and I was just doing a really shitty Joe Biden impression. And she was like, "Listen, I don't know why your Italian accent is so bad, but you need to stop. I'm trying to sleep."
Ooh, yeah. What's like, Joe Biden like?
Oh, it's not good. You're not going to get me to do it here now.
I'll do mine. Mine's terrible.
Yeah.
It's real bad. Dude.
It's all I can get the speech pattern. I just can't get the voice.
Yeah, the voice is hard.
The voice is tough.
Victor.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just a fun text message to get.
Hey, your Italian accent so goddamn terrible. Please. Yes, ma'am. I'm the president, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
It's Mia and my girlfriend, Kamala.
Yeah, and this is my brother, Luigi Biden.
Luigi Biden. I'm Biden, and this is my brother, Luigi Biden.
Why did they rename the White House Peach's Castle?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. The press secretary comes up there and he just goes. It doesn't make any sense.
That's so funny though, because it is just like it's just dementia-ridden Biden just thinking he's actually Mario.
Yeah,
that's the Princess Castle. I'm Mario. Oh man, what news you got for us this week, Barry?
All right,
White Hansen, which is definitely your God-given name, and
damn
not
straight,
something I have to
birth.
stumble around calling you because I've never called you that before.
We got a lot of interesting news. First up, we've been talking about DMCA for a while. The DMCA strikes against streamers.
Okay. Is that the new one, Afterlife?
And Twitch got caught red-handed the other day because they broadcasted the Blizzard convention, BlizzCon, and Metallica performed on it. And when they started performing, they instantly cut the audio and played 8-bit folk music instead.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was one of the most hilarious clips I think I've seen come off of Twitch in a long time.
That rules.
Now, in Twitch's defense, Metallica does have a pretty trialed history with lawsuits.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be Napster, dude.
Yeah. If you're going to shut the music off of somebody's stream, Metallica's probably a good call.
Also,
Yeah.
good choice on the 8-bit folk music when you could have picked, I don't know, 8-bit metal. You could have picked something that
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would, like, didn't even fit
Yeah.
what was being played. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
it was like For Whom the Bell Tolls going into Animal Crossing background music. That's literally what it was.
So they just like, so the DMC, I don't really understand because I don't stream. I should. I just don't do it. I'm not talented enough to like talk and game at the same time. I
Oh,
just can't.
let me tell you, you don't got to be talented to be on Twitch.
But I can't like talk and like the people that I see, even if they're not entertaining, that can have a full-fledged conversation while maintaining focus while gaming. I can't do it. Me gaming is silence with intermittent screaming. that is what it is.
Dude, I'm sure there's people that would love watching that though.
Yeah, guys, you want to come out to fucking Scream Fest? 6 hours of me yelling every 20 seconds.
If you want to see the most accurate representation of Winston gaming, watch him playing Fortnite on the Comics and Consoles channel, and that
Fortnite sucks.
Fortnite does. I have a theory that Fortnite is okay. You know how they there's that like sound test where the frequency changes and you're supposed to like gauge when you stop hearing it.
Yeah, like when you get older.
Yeah, like as you get older, it gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
Fortnite is like the hand-eye coordination equivalent of that. Whereas like if you're under 18, your brain can function like building and shooting at the same time. But as you get further and further from 18, you have a harder and harder time being able to multitask in that
Dude,
manner.
that is my biggest complaint is a game with a goddamn building mechanic.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn how to do. If it was just shooting, I'd be like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's like kids that are just like building shit, and it's just like, dude, I couldn't build that if the game was purely about building.
Yeah, that's why I switched over to Apex Legends.
Yeah, I have to try that out.
The shooting is really good in that one, and you don't have to worry about building shit.
Yeah. Building's dumb. Fuck
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
That's a stance on Comics and Consoles.
Yeah,
that we
for
take.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, buildings are lame as fuck.
Fuck resources.
For you guys that stream, you three stream, have you guys ever had any issues with the DMCA? Like, has that been something you've had to deal with?
Not personally, but mostly because when I was streaming like games that I used to listen to music for, the band that I usually played they've been on Twitter talking about how they own the rights to their own music. They're cool with you guys streaming it. No big deal.
Okay.
But I think it was just a lucky coincidence. I don't really listen to a lot of mainstream pop or any of that shit. You know what I mean? So I don't think I have to worry about it that much.
Yeah. I haven't had any issues with it like in like US websites, but so one of the things I do is I play in a like fairly competitive Madden franchise that requires us to stream our gameplays to like make sure we're not cheating. Like there's certain rules like you can't spam plays, so it prevents anything like too cheesy from happening, like
slants 12 times in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we have to stream, and every single time I stream my game, immediately afterwards, it's like your stream was removed in Cambodia and like these handful of countries in Africa and most of Asia and like all of these things because of the Madden soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not even me playing other music.
The Madden is just a game that is just like, difficulty.
Yeah. So it's like it doesn't matter to me because all that matters is that the stream is there for them to watch, but it just cracks me up that literally every time I finish a game, I immediately have an email about all the countries that my stream was removed in.
That's awesome.
Jeez Louise.
But you, Barry?
I think the only problem I had a similar problem that Chris had with Fallout New Vegas, because there was a couple songs on there that would get flagged. But for the most part, I'm kind of in the same boat as Rhaldy, where a lot of the music I was playing on stream was either local artists or artists that are like small enough to where like they're like, nah, I'm just happy that somebody's hearing my music.
Yeah.
And and I've helped a lot of people find out about new artists that way by them being like, what's this song? And I'm like, oh, it's this artist. Here, check out his SoundCloud or whatever. And I don't have that issue, but I noticed a lot of the DMCAs have been coming from like a lot of pop music because you have labels behind it that pay money to have these algorithms made and stuff like that. Whereas these independent artists, they just want their music to be heard at that point and potentially get some sales, you know? So I haven't had an issue, but I do see Chris's point about it being in game and it getting flagged and stuff like that. Cyberpunk is a prime example. They had that happen where 2 songs in their game were getting DMCA struck. Back to Cyberpunk. We always do it.
Can't get away.
Can't get away.
Yeah. It's even funnier because those songs for Cyberpunk were the ones that were made for Cyberpunk, right? They weren't ones that were like,
Yeah.
they weren't. It wasn't the songs that like they got the rights to and included in the game. Like those songs exclusively existed for Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that
Makes it even funnier.
Yeah, exactly.
And on the topic of Cyberpunk, CDPR, this happened last week. CDPR had a hacker contact them with a ransom notice for the source code for Gwent, Witcher 3, and Cyberpunk. And basically CDPR said back, we don't negotiate with terrorists, essentially.
They basically responded with, do it, pussy.
Yeah.
You don't have the fucking balls to steal our unfinished bullshit.
And then a week later, they released the Gwent source code to say, oh, we'll do it. So this is when I announce my game Gwent will be coming out next week. It's a superior card game to Gwent. And then after that, Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk source code ended up on the dark web for auction. There was a high bid of 1 million, and then suddenly a mysterious buyer came in at 7 million and bought it, demanding it not be sold or spread at all.
That buyer was definitely not CD Projekt Red. That was their username.
It was the Michael Jackson estate, actually.
That's going on my shelf right next to all those Beatles originals.
I got the Beatles, and I got.
I like how their original response was, "We'll release the source code to your least successful game.
Yeah.
Now pay us." You know,
Yeah.
should have went with a little higher of an ante than that.
It'd be a shame if this
Weak opening
game that no one liked.
Yeah. Here, take this game with a 10,000 person player base.
I don't know, man. It's just all just fucking. What is this like the future we're living? Like, is this what like stealing source code is what the giant cyber crime is in 2021? I don't know. Steal it, give it away.
They use pwned in their ransom letter, which
holy crap! So they're like 30 some odd years old, right?
Yeah,
they're an older guy.
It also read as though it was ran through Google Translate twice. Yeah, it was. There were a fair amount of typographical errors.
All our base art belong to us.
Yeah, pretty close.
All our source code are free now. Internet. That's fucking ridiculous, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that. So like, what I don't fully understand. So like, basically, what they're threatening was, we'll release this, and other people can just copy the game and like make their
Yeah, so the source code is like literally what they use to program. Like
that's what I thought, but I was like, what's the big?
Yeah,
I don't know. I was
like Epic has the Unreal Engine, right? So it's that. It's like what makes a game look like it was made by that company, essentially. But yeah, they
also engines and stuff too, like stuff that are the backbone of the game and stuff.
Right.
Interesting. Damn. Well, yeah. I mean, if it was a company I gave a shit about, I'd probably care a little bit more.
I used to think super highly of CDPR, man, and then the last couple of years they've just been fucking up in a major way.
I think Cyberpunk will be a great game in a year and a half.
True.
I think I am still like a big fan of CD Projekt Red, and I understand people. Again, this is my old man shaking his cane moment. People just want instant gratification way too fast anymore.
True.
People forget how broken The Witcher was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the first year. The Witcher 3, a year after it released, had to get an entirely new user interface because it sucked so bad.
Awful.
Yeah.
Like The Witcher 2, like had similar issues, really buggy. Witcher 3 was delayed over a year. Like this has happened. This is part of the games industry. I honestly feel like you got to choose. It's either the company sucks really, really bad and puts out shitty like projects that don't ever get better, and the employees are under a ton of crunch, or they release a shitty product that eventually is really good, but takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their whole slogan should be like CD Projekt Red, good games eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a reason why The Witcher was Game of the Year a year after it released.
Dude, it's like the guy from the old Popeye cartoons. I'd gladly pay you Wednesday for a video game today.
Yes, exactly.
Well, a prime example would be like what me and Raldy went through with Gwent, where we literally saw a game just get worse and worse as they tried to make it better. And so we also saw the opposite from them as well.
100%. I mean, granted, I'm sure the Gwent part of their production team is like 20 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think a card game is going to get the majority of the resources from a AAA company.
Yeah, it's mostly the janitors working on it.
Yeah.
It's
like that's so funny. It's just, they're hiring the janitors at CJ Projekt. So do you have coding experience? It's like, what? And it's like, well, here's a card game. Go ahead.
You know how to drag and drop?
That's all we need.
And in other news, I recently saw that a lot of streamers are now pushing for kernel-based anti-cheats on computer due to the COD cheating that we discussed last week. What do we think? Some people are comparing it to like a drug test for athletes. That it's invasive, but it makes the gameplay more fair. What do we think? Do we think privacy versus fair gameplay? What do we think about that?
I would say, like, historically, if you had asked me like several like years ago, I'd be like, oh, that seems kind of ridiculous. But I think at like the point now with how competitive gaming is, and gaming is like no longer just something people do just for fun. Like, it's the type of thing where like how you play, if you're working towards getting sponsored or like you're making your money through Twitch and stuff like that, your income can be affected with this. And I think when you get to that point, if we're going to call it esports, we should probably be treating it like actual sports.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
So that's where my mind is. But if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd been like, why are you asking this question's fucking stupid. It's a video game.
Yeah. I think it also should be exclusively for the competitive market though.
Agreed.
Like I don't think like me, you know, a 28-year-old school teacher and comedian who's playing Apex Legends on his stream, you know, should be sacrificing privacy to just play that game. But like, I think we just need to make professional gaming also a little bit more sanctioned.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be like actual, like, if you're playing ranked, sure. Like if you're playing ranked in Overwatch or COD or something like that, then totally. But someone who's playing casually shouldn't be subjected to that. Like it comes with the territory, in my opinion.
I think it should be the same thing. Like I agree. Same thing with sports. It's like just like there's certain testings for college athletes and there's testing for professional athletes. But if we were going to do a pickup basketball game, it's like I shouldn't have to piss in a fucking cup. Like this is like let's just do this. I think all professional gamers should be kept in cages. Now this is not the only person who agrees with me is Biden, but I really think we should keep all the pro gamers in cages and really not let them do anything.
It is really safest for the people around them.
Yeah, it is. This is actually for
this is for society. I promise.
Just throw some G Fuel and Little Caesars in there every once in a while. And
dude, we have a great promotion going on with Little Caesars right now, where it's all hot and ready food for our captives.
What do you mean? There's no compassion?
Which, for people that aren't like you guys, like Chris has said his opinion, but like you other two guys, you guys stream and you have people that watch your stream and stuff like that. Not necessarily, I don't really know that you guys are doing stuff that's super competitive, but if it got to the point where you kind of had to do that in order to stream or to do anything to where you could possibly make money doing it, would you give up that freedom to do it for people that are kind of like on the fringes, if that makes sense?
If I had a possibility of making this my full-time gig, 100%, I would be okay with it. As it stands, I stream Dungeons and Dragons one night a week, and I stream Stardew Valley with a couple of my lady friends one night a week. So it's like I'm doing this legit just for fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if it was a way to where, first of all, competitive games on Twitch, it's insane, right? Trying to get into that whole like market is nuts. I don't have the time. I don't have the mental fortitude to deal with chat screaming about me making the wrong play at the wrong time. Like, fuck all that shit, dude. No thanks.
Weak DM move, dude. How could you? That's like, dude, that's a charisma check. What do you fucking think?
You should have rolled perception there.
Yeah, nice job. I remember my first game.
So it's actually an acrobatics check, not an athletics check, I think you'll find on page 146 of the player's handbook.
Yeah, all your characters sound the same.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. D&D rules.
It does, dude. If I could legitimately stream D&D like 4 or 5 days a week, I would just be a DM on Twitch.
Have you thought about doing, do you do any professional game master stuff? Like, have you thought, because there has to be some market for that, especially during COVID when you can get a bunch of people just be like, hey, my rate is like $100.
I've seen. There's a website out there where you can actually go and basically rent a DM, and they charge by the hour. It's like $25 an hour or something like that. If I was a little more confident in my world building, maybe I'd think about it. But like my players say I'm a good DM.
To question you.
My players think I'm a good DM, but I think it's just because it's most of their first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Everybody remembers their first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a website that's just like baby's first DM. And you're like, I'll DM the first game. It'll be gentle. That's dope though. Fuck yeah. What's next?
Baby
Mary?
Can't even roll dice yet.
Yeah.
I do like where D&D has gone with this whole with the advancement of the internet, though. It's really cool that you can play D&D with people in different towns, cities, countries.
Yeah, and you can literally be in any basement around the world.
Yeah, and I run like a virtual tabletop, so like their characters are on the screen, and
that's cool.
They move around a map, you know, and their dice show when they roll on the screen, so everybody knows they're not rolling a fucking natural 20 at home on their desk, you know, even though they rolled like a 2 or some shit. Like, it's really cool.
That's awesome, man.
It breeds insane creativity because you have to make maps and all this stuff for them to walk around it.
Man. Yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, you did definitely made my first experience like
special.
Yeah.
Oh, Larry, how sweet.
Yeah. But because it's one of those things where that was the one thing I was dreading was I was like, man, I'm just gonna be sitting here staring at a sheet of loose leaf paper with a bunch of numbers on it. This is gonna kind of be boring. But having a game board, having tokens, having like items and stuff made it feel like I was just playing a board game, and it made it more fun. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like I was just talking to somebody writing down notes. Like,
yeah.
I think it's all about the group. Like, this is the first time I've ever really done it. And I was in 2 groups, and one was fun and it was okay, but we quit because it just got too busy. But the other one that we've taken a few weeks break, but it's like I get to do a character voice in it. Like the DM is a good friend of mine who's like an improviser. So it's like he's like any weird thing we throw at him, like you can see the excitement on his face. Like I don't feel like I'm burdening the DM.
Right.
And it's just like being able to just to like have a dude that's willing to let you make jokes and stuff, but like but it's while you're in character and do shit like that. Like it's really fun. It's like being in a sitcom.
See, I in one of my favorite D&D campaigns I ever did, but this kind of made me way more uncomfortable doing voices. So I was playing a Kenku, which if you don't know, anyone listening, Kenkus are crow-like birds.
Mimic, baby.
Yeah. So I was a Kenku rogue, and for like for the first hour of the first session, I spoke where like I was constantly changing pitch and tone.
Yeah.
Like we decided we decided that I knew words because I was traveled enough, like in my character's backstory, that I've heard most language, right?
Mhm.
Like there was language that I was aware of, but at first the trick was that I could only speak in other people's voices. I don't have my own. And like I said, it made it like an hour before the DM was like, all right, that's enough.
Oh,
You can
man,
just talk
that
normal.
Yeah,
So because I like fully committed to it, and I was really enjoying myself. And then to just have like to get to that point where everyone kind of collectively was like, yeah, this has gotten annoying.
lame. Dude,
Really, it sounds like it would have been cool to see or
Yeah.
like be a part of.
and I like the character voice thing because you don't have to say, "Oh, I have a question." It's not in character.
Yeah, out of
Yeah.
character.
You immediately
see.
know
Yeah.
what the fuck I'm doing because I've got this silly ass fucking voice and
So
like.
Do you
breaking
guys
the
go
fourth
for the
wall.
funny character names, or do you go for like character names that make sense? So like the Kenku, his name was Streak Free Shine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a reference to the old Windex commercials
Yeah,
with the
Streak-
crows.
Yeah, we did the names we didn't really give a shit about. Like it's just
Yeah.
kind of fun. It's like, yeah, you should play a Kenku, but the only thing he's ever heard is hardcore gay porn.
Yeah.
all that you're speaking in is grunts.
Yeah,
You're just like,
that's really
give it
fun.
to me, daddy.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I let my characters choose whatever name they wanted. I've got a character named Stumble Drunk the motherfucking dwarf or something like that. You know, my paladin or the paladin in our group, his name is Francis.
That's awesome.
Choose whatever
That's so
name you
fun.
want. You know, I don't care. I kind of take my I kind of
You
take
let
my
them have free rein.
NPCs a little more seriously. They have like kind of professional-ish names, you know. Or,
Yeah,
I mean,
thought out.
obviously, but like I don't care what the characters do.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's just I just like the freedom of like you're actually playing a character, and like our DM's cool about like we can break the fourth wall a little bit when making references to like in conversation with the person. It's fun. It's you gotta, I don't know, Barry, you should keep doing it if you're not still doing it. Chris, get in.
I've been able to. I've been able to work out my work schedule a lot lately. So I have been meaning to get back in touch with Barry and the group that I had to cancel on and trying to get. The problem is Barry's a streamer, Carl's a streamer, you know, and everybody works different shifts. So getting everybody together for a 2.5 to 3 hour period every
tough.
week it's a conflict. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need someone for a one shot, let me know, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
yeah. Dude, I'm thinking about making my next campaign after this one's done. Kind of, I'm old. Okay, I'm 35. I'll be 36. I fucking love Harry Potter, so the next campaign's gonna be slightly
Transphobe, good.
like
to
a
know.
Harry Potter
Only
theme.
cisgender characters.
But Hermione was black, okay?
A black cis woman. That's what Hermione is. That'd be cool though.
Oh,
Like it's
shit.
based on the wizarding world, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it would still be like D&D themed, but like you would be more of a specified like special magical like caster. They wouldn't be like fighters, you know. Because I mean,
Okay.
if everybody in your world is able to cast spells or create and throw potions at people, a guy with a
sounds
sword and a
fun.
shield is probably just going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah,
you
get
know what I
fucking
mean?
whomped, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. All right,
It's a neat
Barry,
concept.
what you got next in the super cool news?
Wow.
what else you got for us?
Are we on Spike TV? What are we?
Yeah, this is the super rad comics and consoles game awards.
Sponsored by Totino's Pizza Rolls.
Best Lego stream goes to Barry White Hansen for his
Thank you,
Chinese
thank
Lego
you.
fucking whatever the fuck he put together.
So, Uncharted, there's a game coming or a movie coming out based on the game with Tom Holland,
Yes.
which raises the question: does anybody give a fuck about a Uncharted movie?
No.
I don't, but I think people do.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is again me just like becoming more cordial or civil in age, but I'm like, I'll see it. You know what
Oh,
I
I'm
mean?
gonna
Like
see it for sure.
I'm not stoked for it, but seeing as I saw that new Mortal Kombat trailer and I was like, oh, cool, I'll give it a shot. Like, I've reached the point in my life, honestly, where like I like most movies. Like a movie has to be like truly abhorrent for me to not enjoy it.
It has to be a special type of bad to not enjoy it. Because there's bad that I'm just like, if you get to a certain level of bad, you're just like, this is my wheelhouse. This is
right. Yeah. Sure. It's definitely the horseshoe effect where sometimes it gets so bad that it starts coming back around to being amazing.
Yeah, that's so perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it too. I'm not like stoked on it, but it does feel like we're moving towards a space where video game movies are gonna get made. And from the trailers and just the plots of the movies they're going to use, like they're making a Last of Us television show where on paper, if you don't know anything about the games, you would still think this might be a good movie or this is going to be a good show.
However,
my mom would like the Uncharted movie.
But well, and I feel the same way about The Last of Us, right? But then you have shit like the Monster Hunter movie,
which
where
is awesome.
I can't see, again, I'm going to see it because why not? But I can't imagine it being good.
The trailer, it looks so
radical,
bad, but like so action packed that I'm like, maybe they pull this off somewhere. Maybe the trailer is just kind of like lacking. And
did you like the Resident Evil movies?
I mean, they were fine. They weren't like, like passable. They weren't something I loved. Silent Hill movie was the same way. I was like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be better if it wasn't called Silent Hill.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
Yeah, the Resident Evil
because it's got to live up to it.
Yeah, the Resident Evil movies, I'm just like, all right, this is action packed, this is silly, and this is fun. And it's the same director. I think Mila Jovovich is still in Monster Hunter. Thing.
Same person who made all the Resident Evil.
Okay, this will be fun. I was like, this will be, if anything, if nothing else, it is going to be a super hot, like early 40s, late 30s woman killing a bunch of giant monsters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the first Resident Evil movie as much as I had just a massive crush on Michelle Rodriguez at the time, dude. Holy crap.
Babe.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna Monster Hunter. I want to see it because this looks ridiculous.
It is weird to me that Hollywood studios are still just trying to make video game movies work, though. Like Max Payne was horrible. Like it just is like it's gonna be so hard to nail one. But I do truly think because HBO's making the Last of Us show, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's gonna be incredible. That show's gonna be phenomenal, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But like
just directing the Uncharted movie.
It's gonna be the first. I can't remember who's directing the Uncharted movie.
What do you guys...
know Mark Wahlberg's in it.
Oh fuck yeah, brother.
What do you think about the television show format, like with The Witcher? Do you guys think that's a better medium
I think that would be
attack?
way better for video games.
Yeah, The Witcher I think is a good TV show. And it's weird because it's like I think they take aspects from the game and the book. Like it's not exactly like, and I don't know. I enjoyed the first season of that show.
Yeah, I thought it was super good.
Directed by Ruben Fleischer. Who has he directed? Okay.
Oh, Ruben Fleischer's a good director.
Yeah, it's the Zombieland guy. So it might be, if it has like...
It's going to be campy. It's going to be silly. It's going to be goofy. I think he'll capture the energy really well.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland's great.
Yeah.
I think Tom Holland.
I feel like he's a little too young for Nathan Drake, unless it's like a prequel. Because it does feel like okay. I was gonna say because it does feel like all the casting was kind of young, right? Because Mark Wahlberg is what's his name?
Yes.
I can't remember the other dude, but Sully. Like that feels like a young casting to me. But yeah, if it's a prequel, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty. I think it will be. I think that like with him as a director and Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, I think it's going to be the first in what we're going to see a series or line of movies where they're based on games, but it's almost like it's not even made for fans of the game. Like I think when that Uncharted thing comes out, like it's the type of thing where like I could show my mom the trailer and she's going to be like, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, an original film.
Well,
cool.
and I do think it helps though that it's not a super gamey game. Like I don't even know what that means, but like Warcraft, for example, right? That movie I was pretty excited for because I loved the Warcraft 3 game, and I thought it was interesting like before it came out that they were saying it's mostly following like the story of Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And then it was just a really, really bad movie.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
But I think it's because it depends too much on being a video game, which is where I think why I think like Mortal Kombat historically does poorly.
Yeah.
Like they're campy, but there's never been a Mortal Kombat movie that was like incredible.
Oh man, I loved the first one back in the 90s, dude. That shit was dope.
So did I, but that's because we were like 8 years old and playing Mortal Kombat when we saw it.
Yeah.
But like there weren't like, I guarantee you there weren't like 30-year-olds watching that movie who loved it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think where The Last of Us and Uncharted will like get help is that they're not super video gamey games. Like there is media that exists that is similar to those things already.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be some, I don't know. I'm interested to see, because I also think that in the next 15 or 20 years, the line between what's a game and what's a movie is also going to be blurred. Like I think there's going to be so much content created that it's going to be like, you're going to have to play the game and see the movie and do all these things. It's like, all right, I guess.
Well, Marvel's already started doing it with like the TV shows and the movies being interconnected now and stuff. So, I mean, they're already kind of shifting that direction.
Right.
Which will be interesting to see, because I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with all that, man. It's a lot of content.
Well, I think that's what's going to end up happening is they're going to try to execute it, and then they're going to see people are going to become disengaged because nothing is standalone anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be harder. Like my mom is a great example of this, right? Where my mom saw Iron Man 2, Captain America, and the first Avengers movie. And like, she was into those, but then once they started just continuously putting out more and more, she like started falling behind. Yeah. And then when it came to like Avengers Endgame, she was just like, she literally walked out of the theater when my stepdad and her and my brothers went. Yeah. But I'm saying like that's what you're gonna see. I think Disney's gonna end up starting to see happen is people are going to be like overwhelmed by the amount of content, because she got like an hour and a half into the movie and was like, I have no idea what's happening. I'm just gonna go. You guys let me know when the movie's over.
That's so funny.
I watched the exact same Marvel movies that your mother watched. And then I fell behind a little bit, and then somebody released this picture, and it had like the correct order to watch.
Them in.
And I was like, "Fuck this, dude! I don't care enough about any of these characters to keep up with this. I'm done."
And I think that's the key, and I think that's the biggest problem is to have kept up with that. As some, like I kept up with it because when those first movies came out, I was in college. I had so much fucking free time.
Same.
I could keep up with that, keep up with sports, but like. For my dad, he got to, before he passed away, he got to see all of them up through Endgame. My mom got to see all of them, and they loved them, but that was the thing they were into. Like it has to be the thing you're into. Like you can't be super into all these other things. My parents were like, we'll watch whatever comes on regular TV. We'll watch some sports, and we'll just make sure we catch all the Marvel movies because I want to, watch them and enjoy it.
I do think. I also just think like the way attention spans are working, right? And we're getting more like, it's crazy to me going back to WandaVision, which we talked about earlier, probably off the show, I think, if I remember correctly. But I think if that show would have been made a year ago, 5 years ago, every episode would have been an hour long.
Yeah.
But they know it's not just them staying true to format that every episode is 20 minutes or 23 minutes. It's because attention spans don't allow people, especially when everyone just is binge watching stuff, right? Like I can say this, I've never seen Black Mirror because I didn't get into it the first season. And now the idea of going back and watching like 5 seasons of a TV show that every episode is an hour long is impossible.
Yeah.
I have like so much other stuff I want to do with my life. I will never see an episode of Black Mirror.
I don't have time for that shit, dude.
Yeah. And I think just you're going to have more and more people are that way because we felt like Endgame finished it.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the bookend. And now that they're still rolling stuff out with it, it's just going to be like, I know I'm just going to grow further and further away from it.
Yeah.
They're going into like the expanded universe now. So you're going to get like superheroes from some other time and space, and it's just like
can't wait for the Marvel Planet Z movie though, where they all become zombies. Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
I think it's gonna be. I think the stuff they're making is still going to be cool, but I agree. Yeah. I think that my attention span, my limit, has been reached. Yeah, it's like I've watched everything up through Endgame. I've watched all those movies more than once because there's so much time in between stuff. It's like, I guess I'll rewatch this and this and this. I am 30 years old. I have other interests. I have other passions and pursuits. I can't like
Oh, you cut out.
I think if I was like 14 right now and all this stuff was coming out, I'd be like, this is the best time to be alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm 30 and I'm like, I guess I got to find something 30-year-olds like.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was I was relieved to find out that this season of Supernatural was the last one. It felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders because I started watching it in college. So I was like, I got to see it through to the end. But once it was done, I was like, oh, thank fucking God, I don't have to go back.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've started to understand bad sitcoms more.
Mm-hmm.
Like the purpose a shitty sitcom serves to just have on in the background while you do other things.
Listen, my brain is bad, and sometimes I just need noise. That's it.
Yep.
I just need to see what Sheldon and Leonard are doing. It's like, I get that it's terrible, but every now and then just having canned laughter in the background and look up and be like, oh, okay, they kissed, and then just go back to doing your other stuff.
Kelsey Grammer made his whole living off of that.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Background TV, man. I just see the purpose that network television.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what happened in any episode of Frasier, and I swear to God, that was on TV every damn day at my grandparents' house.
Yeah, I feel like that show was made exclusively for kids who didn't go to school that day.
Yeah.
Those were the only people who watched Frasier.
That and Matlock.
Yeah. It's like, well, I could watch 700 Club or I can watch Frasier. I don't know which I'm going to do.
Yeah, which will it be? What old white man will I listen to today? Oh, man. What's next, Barry?
All right, this is a favorite topic here. Worst game rage moment or most pissed off a game has made you.
All right. I love that. I'll go first because I actually recently shared this in my Madden franchise. One of the guys also plays MLB and has an MLB league.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, is anyone picking up the show this year? And I was like, oh no, I swore off that game about 10 years ago. And he was like, well, what happened? I said, I told him it was the only game I've ever broken a controller on.
Oh, really?
I'm typically not an angry person, but wait till you hear how I broke it. That's what's amazing to me. So I was playing on my online franchise and I was playing against the computer. So there's no excuse for me to lose, really. I threw back to back to back to back to back home runs.
Oh, I would have been furious.
I spiked my controller into the floor and it bounced up into the fireplace, like while it was on.
Oh my God, just burnt it.
And I was just like, fuck. That was literally the angriest I've ever been in a video game. Was like just it because I hit like the computer hit the one. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, I still got this. Hit the second one. I was like, God damn it. Third one, I was like, they can't do any more. Then the fourth one, I was like, okay, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
And then, the fifth one was just, I hit my breaking point. I was just
That's
like,
insane, dude.
Yeah. Couldn't, like, that's half the lineup. Half of the lineup got a home run against me.
A bunch of solo shots.
Yeah.
Mine is a little more, not personal, but I affected another person with mine. Mine was playing Paper Magic the Gathering in real life. I was state champion. I'd been to regionals. I'd finished top 8.
Shit, dude.
I was like on the verge of being a pro player, making actual, yearly income playing Magic the Gathering. And I was playing at a local tournament in the town I still live in now. And this kid sat down for me. We're going for first place in this tournament. He sits down. His deck is the exact counter to the deck I'm playing. He's going to beat me, right? He can be the worst player in the world. And if he draws decent, I lose. And I realized this early on, and I just start to seethe. I'm just getting so mad. I'm losing to this unskilled, terrible Magic player. And I'm Rhaldy fucking TV. I'm a state goddamn champion. This is what I'm telling myself in my head. I should have no reason to lose to this kid. I start insulting him across the table. I'm screaming at this kid, like saying all these obscenities and shit. And I I quit Magic shortly after that because I went home and reflected on how much of a dick I am. But I was so pissed, and he didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? This poor kid, you know, who just was lucky, brought the correct deck that night to beat me.
That's great.
It was so frustrating. I was shaking. I was so mad. I was almost to the point of like choking this kid out. You
know? That reminds me of one of the funniest ones I've ever experienced. Similar. I was at a Grand Prix, Philadelphia Grand Prix in like 2013 or 2014. And, I was playing I had gotten eliminated from the main event, so I was playing a standard tournament side event that was single elimination. Mm-hmm. And it was the semifinals, and I was playing a mono green devotion deck.
All right.
I'm not kidding you. It was turn 3. I had a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, and I had an island, and then I had 2 elves out on the board. 2 are the ones that tapped for 1 green. And when I played the second one, the other guy scooped and walked out. He picked up his cards, he put them in the deck box, he stood up, and he walked out of the room.
Damn.
Didn't say a word to me, didn't say a word to anybody else. They came over and they're like, did he forfeit? I was like, I guess.
Being on that side of those is awesome.
Yeah.
Being on the other side where you're like, I
don't know. Maybe I'm just like, there is a part of me. So growing up, I was like with me and my cousins and stuff playing video games. I was always the compassionate one where like, I didn't have anger problems. So I would be okay. Like if I was winning most of the game, I would be okay with losing the 4th quarter. So my cousin wasn't mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that part still lives inside of me where like when that guy got up and left, I felt guilty. I was like, oh man, I should have picked a different deck, I guess.
You ruined his day.
I felt like genuine guilt for what I had done.
I'm trying to think if I've ever made anyone. I think the closest is like when I was playing the first Halo, like when that first came out, and I was like 12, like 11 or 12, and I was going to like there's the like MagFest or whatever, Chris, like the so I went to like the first 2 of those and I was like 12 or 13, and I was just playing in tournaments and just watching people that are my age now, just 30-year-old men, being furious that a 12-year-old was beating them at Halo in person. Like it's just we're right next to each other, and I'm like, that was fun. And they're just just furious. But that's about it, I think, as far as like, because I'm the same way. I would feel bad if I was really beating someone really bad, and I would like, if it was a sports game, fuck up on purpose.
Yeah, always ease up.
Yeah, or just ease up a little bit and just be like, oh shit, man, I guess that's how the rubber band physics work.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest of 9 kids. I have been competitive since I can fucking remember. Like, I have to be the best at whatever I'm doing. Like, it's ridiculous now that I'm 30 something and I look back on it. I'm just like, my blood pressure is probably a lot higher than it should be because of this. Because of these fucking videos.
Yeah, I just want everyone to have fun. That's the like, I don't know, maybe that's the mom in me or something, but I'm just like, everyone's having a good time. That's okay.
That's where I'm at now. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's very zen.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't play very many multiplayer shooters anymore, because I tried to play Valorant when Valorant came out, and it was the most toxic couple hours of gameplay that I've ever played in my life, just off of the fact that people took it so seriously. It's like, guys, this isn't even ranked yet. Like, we're just playing.
That's it.
These are normal games, everybody. We need to relax.
Yeah.
Winston, we can't hear you.
Hold on.
There we go.
Yeah, these are games. Sorry. The cord keeps popping out. But yeah, what do you got for us to close on, Barry?
I feel like this is a good, nice little wrap-up topic. Least favorite genre of game and why? While y'all are thinking, I can start with one. My least favorite is MOBAs. I cannot stand tower defense games. Just the people that play them kind of suck, and it's too long of a game. A game is like an hour and a half long. Yeah. And I tried to play it one day, and my first game got accused of cheating in a bot match, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And just I feel like the games are too long. Like I don't want to spend an hour and a half in one game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say MOBAs are terrible. I also don't like MMOs, man. Like it's just literally it's too much time to crank into something. Not everybody that plays it, but it's a lot. I think when you look at the MMO community, a lot of them are the stereotypes of like what people think when they think of gamers.
Yeah,
the problematic aspects of gaming.
Yeah, like that's just like fuck, man. It's like making everybody else look pretty fucking terrible. So yeah, MMOs and MOBAs were never anything that interested me in playing, and I only recently tried playing more survival horror stuff because I fucking don't like being scared at all.
I think survival horror would probably be my least favorite, just because I also am not a fan of being scared while playing games. Phasmophobia has kind of changed that a little bit, but mostly because I'm getting to play with my friends, right?
Yeah.
And I like to role play, so I'll do voices while I'm ghost hunting and shit like that, to make it kind of fun, and it also makes me slightly less scared. But like when I was younger, I remember I couldn't beat the first Resident Evil because I was too terrified at one point. I was just like, I can't do this. No thanks. I can watch a scary movie and be fine, but a scary game, I'm out.
Scary games are longer. You're more involved. Like it's harder to detach yourself when you're playing as the character.
And you're supposed to be playing a game to relax, in my opinion. You know, not feel like I'm gonna have nightmares later because of this.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
No, I agree with the MMO aspect. I think that one is really, I think as far as game genres go, it's the least accessible. I think, in my opinion, like I can pick up. I'm not super good at shooters. I'm getting better at Apex, but like I'm not incredible by any means. But you can pick up any shooter and play it. Like you get it, right? Any RPG, you can pick it up. You get it. MMOs, everyone is MMOs and MOBAs both. It's like you can't just pick it up and jump into it. There's such a learning curve. Yeah. The closest actually I've ever been to enjoying a MOBA was that game Battleborn that released at the same time as Overwatch and got killed by Overwatch.
Yeah.
But that one was super fun. Like it was structured really well. It made sense. Like the character dynamics fit. It didn't feel like anyone was OP. Like it just was a really enjoyable game, and it got like that's when they should have delayed like 6 months just so it didn't release at the same time as Overwatch.
Yeah.
Because fucking horny butts will win every time.
Every time.
There weren't enough sexy characters in Battleborn.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blizzard.
Thanks a lot.
This was a good one, guys. Do you guys want to? We'll start with Chris. Chris, do you want to plug your stuff? Where can people find what you do, man?
Sure, absolutely. So I release I have a hip hop podcast I record with my friend Bill Russum, called White Men Can't Bump. It's great. I love that name so much. That releases every other Monday. I have a gaming podcast that we do. We don't have a set schedule right now because my co-host recently had twins. But we do stream. That is Up and Up Pod. You can go listen through our back catalog, but then we also stream on twitch.tv/Up and Up Pod 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 p.m. to question mark. Those are all the places you can check me out.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and Gorky Romano on all social media.
Gorky Romano?
Yeah. Gorky Romano. Like the Ray.
What about you? Where can people find you, man?
Twitch, Sundays, I stream Stardew Valley with some of my close friends. Gonna try and get some more D&D games up and running. Stream D&D usually every Monday night. Sometimes schedules conflict and we have to put it off to a later day in the week, but that's really it. Twitch, RhaldyTV.
Awesome. Check those guys out. You can follow me at Winston H Comedy on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. WinstonHodges.com. I got a stand-up special. I got like a bunch of fucking podcasts, but that's all at WinstonHodges.com. What about you, Barry?
You can find me here on Twitch at this channel, this very channel you're watching this on, and Twitter at Barry White Hansen, and for YouTube, Barry White Hansen as well. And of course, comicsandconsoles.com is where you can find more information about this podcast, all back episodes, video, all that stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next week with another episode, 5 p.m. every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Hope you can join us next week. Good night.
Peace.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.